Hey, what's going on? Coach Madden, official trainer, YouGoProBaseball.com, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that pitchers make. And this is an important video because if you're making one of these mistakes, you're going to want to cut it out as soon as you can so that you can get back on track and being a dominant pitcher, because there's a lot of attributes that contribute to being a great pitcher. And if you're messing one of these things up, you're selling yourself short and you're not reaching your full potential, your full abilities, okay? So we're going over the top 5 mistakes that pitchers are making. Now, before we get into the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification right next to it. This way you'll be notified every time I upload new videos so I can help you be the best pitcher that you can be. Then drop down in the comments section below. Let me know that you subscribed and then ask me any pitching questions that you have so I can help you out by answering them there. Now let's get into it. The first mistake that I see a lot of pitchers making is they're not fully warmed up. They pick up a ball and they start playing catch. They start throwing to warm up versus warming up to throw. And this is a big problem. You want to make sure that you're fully warmed up. You're sweating. That's the general rule. I have a pitching velocity boot camp that I run every year, and that's the #1 rule of the boot camp. You cannot touch a baseball until you're sweating. And this is important because if you're sweating, you know that your body is warmed up. And that's just, again, just a general rule to tell you that you're loose. Everyone knows, you guys all know what you're supposed to do to get warmed up. You know, I don't have to give you any exercises, any tips, anything that you need to do. Just, again, make sure that you're doing enough to where your body is warm and you're ready to go. And we're doing this before we throw and not throwing to warm up. The second mistake that I see a lot of pitchers doing is they're afraid to throw strikes. And we don't want to be afraid to throw strikes. We don't want to be afraid to pitch to contact. We have to throw the ball in the zone, let the ball do the work for us, and pitch to contact. And we have to have the confidence and the conviction behind our pitches to do this. If the catcher calls a fastball and you're like, I'm not sure I want to throw this pitch right here, and you throw it anyway, those are the pitches that usually end up getting crushed because we hang them, we leave them up in there. And again, we just have to have the confidence to throw to contact and believe in our stuff. It comes down to belief, confidence, and conviction. And I talk about this a lot in my confidence booster program. We talk about, how to believe, not just that you have to believe, because that's the easy part. Yeah, you got to believe. Of course you got to believe in yourself. That makes sense. But how do we do it? So we talk about that in that program. In fact, I'll leave a link down below where you can check that out because it's some good stuff and it's on sale right now. The third mistake that I see pitchers making is that they pitch to the hitter's weaknesses versus their strengths. And I think the reason why we do this a lot is because pitchers like to analyze things, and they like to look at hitters and like to say, oh, that guy can't hit the inside pitch, that guy can't hit the outside pitch, he can't hit a curveball. And that's all great, but at the end of the day, you have to believe in your strengths, and you have to believe that you can get anybody out with your best stuff, no matter who's up there to bat. So if your best stuff is a sinker, my best pitch was a sinker, I should be able to throw that pitch to anyone and feel confident that I can get them out. I don't have to say, oh, this guy can't hit a slider and throw my second best pitch to try to get him out. I want to pitch to my strengths over his weaknesses. Now, if we can find a hole that he can't touch, that's a different story. But a lot of the times we do too much pitching to hitters' weaknesses versus pitching to our strengths. So we got to kind of put the weight on this side of the continuum a little bit more and start pitching to our strengths, have that confidence, have that conviction, and throw the ball in the zone. The fourth mistake that I see pitchers making is they overthink, and this happens a lot. I see a lot of guys out there just overthinking. They get in their own head and they're stuck in there. They're on the mound and you can see the wheels cranking while they're up there on the rubber. And when you start to think too much, then you can't perform to your highest level. You have to be able to put yourself into flow, into a flow state, into the zone. We've all heard the term get in the zone, or I was in the zone, he's in the zone. You got to put yourself in the zone, okay? And there's a few ways that you can do that. You got to train yourself to be able to get into that zone more often than not, and that deals with shutting your brain down. You got to shut, when you're in the zone, right? You're not thinking about much. You're just up there doing. You're in it, right? You're in the zone. You're in that flow state, right? You're not thinking about it. You're not thinking of what's going to happen. You're just doing. And you've got to learn how to put yourself into that state more often than not. And the fifth of the top 5 mistakes that pitchers make is that they try to get too much sideways movement versus downward movement. I talk about this a lot. You hear me say depth all the time, depth on your pitches. We want that depth. We want that downward movement on whatever pitches we're throwing. I threw a sinker, it had that downward arm side movement. I also threw a slider, it had that downward glove side movement. And the reason why we want depth over side to side movement is because a hitter's swing stays on a plane. It's easier for him to reach out and get to that sideways pitch or stay in and get to the inside pitch. Much easier to do that versus change the plane of his swing as he's swinging. So if that ball's moving down, it's hard for him to go here and then down to get it. Does that make sense? So pitches that have more downward movement are going to be much more effective than that sideways movement. And as pitchers, sometimes we get caught up in those pitches that move a real lot, but don't have a lot of depth on them. They move this way, right? We want that pitch that moves this way, down, so we can miss a lot more bats. And if they do hit it, they're hitting it into the ground. I hope you guys liked this video. I've got another video for you that you're really gonna love. It's 3 ways to instantly increase your pitching velocity. So if you're looking to increase your pitching velocity, these 3 ways are gonna help you do it instantly. You can implement this stuff right when you watch the video, and if you do it correctly, you're gonna get some extra mile per hours out of your delivery. So I really want you guys to see it. It's totally free. All you gotta do is click the first link in the description down below. It's gonna take you to a page where you enter your first name and your email address. And then you're gonna go over to that page and be able to watch that video. And I'm really excited for you guys to do that because I've been getting great results from guys who go watch that video and they come back to me and say, this was awesome. I'm seeing results right away. So go check that out now if you haven't already. Again, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, click the logo right over here. And then if you want to go watch some more pitching videos, I got some good stuff for you guys over here. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.